But this whole thing's been a nightmare.
I'm more concerned about my marriage.
Here's a look ahead.
I'm happy to always help.
I'm gonna need all the help I can get.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. Can you send it to Mommy?
Go. Be with your family.
You are trying to destroy his life, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The air in Los Angeles crackles with more than just the autumn sun. For the residents of the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer mansions, the weeks of October 13th through the 24th promise a maelstrom of betrayal, shattered alliances, and a single, desperate phone call that will change everything. As alliances fracture and secrets explode into the open, one name will be on everyone's lips: Luna Nozawa. And one action, a frantic 911 call from her own mother, Electra, will plunge the entire fashion dynasty into its most chaotic and personal crisis yet. The calm before the storm, a wedding veiled in deception. The fortnight begins under the guise of celebration. Hope Logan and Thomas Forrester, having conquered seemingly insurmountable obstacles, are finalizing the last-minute details for their wedding. The Forrester Creations atelier is aflutter with silk and tulle, and Hope's radiant smile seems genuine. She believes she has finally found her safe harbor, a man whose love and dedication are unwavering. Thomas, for his part, is the picture of a devoted groom, his entire world orbiting the promise of making Hope his wife. However, lurking just beneath the surface of this picture-perfect romance is a viper's nest of doubt, meticulously tended by Steffi Forrester. Steffi's instincts have been screaming that something is fundamentally off about her brother's rapid path to the altar. She isn't opposed to his happiness, but her years of navigating the treacherous waters of love and business have honed her skepticism to a razor's edge. She confides in her husband, Finn. "I want to believe this is real. I want to believe he's changed. But this feels rushed. It feels like a beautiful facade, and I'm terrified of what happens when it cracks." Steffi's investigation leads her to a shocking discovery: the pivotal role Luna played in Hope's decision to accept Thomas's proposal. It wasn't just a gentle nudge from a friend, it was a calculated intervention. Steffi uncovers that Luna, under the intense pressure and manipulation of her aunt, Poppy, confessed to more than just encouraging Hope. She revealed that she actively participated in a scheme to isolate Hope from her support system, emphasizing Thomas's virtues while subtly undermining Hope's own wavering judgment. When Steffi confronts Luna, the young intern's carefully constructed composure shatters. Through tears, Luna doesn't deny it. "I just wanted my family to be happy," Poppy said. "She said this was our way in, our chance to be a real part of this family." This confession is a gift-wrapped weapon for Steffi, who immediately takes the information to the one person who needs to hear it most: Hope. The confrontation is brutal. Hope, initially defensive and angry at Steffi's interference, is forced to listen to the cold, hard facts. The revelation that her own decision was engineered by a desperate intern and her scheming mother lands like a physical blow. The foundation of her relationship with Thomas, built on the premise of her free will choice, begins to crumble. The wedding preparations grind to a halt as Hope is plunged into a vortex of agonizing doubt. Is her love for Thomas real, or is it the product of the most sophisticated manipulation of her life? A mother's dissent, Poppy's web, and Electra's ultimatum. While Hope's world implodes, the drama surrounding the Nozawa women reaches a fever pitch. Poppy's single-minded mission to secure a future for herself and Luna by embedding them into the Forrester empire is spinning wildly out of control. Her primary tool has been Luna's relationship with R.J. Forrester, a golden ticket to legitimacy and power. But that relationship is now the epicenter of the storm. R.J., fiercely protective and deeply in love, has begun to see the cracks in Luna's demeanor. The pressure from her mother, the guilt over her role in the Hope-Thomas saga, and the constant scrutiny are taking a devastating toll. She becomes anxious, withdrawn, and jumpy. She starts having vivid, sleep-deprived nightmares and begins relying on a mysterious herbal mint tea that Poppy provides to calm her nerves. RJ is concerned, but Poppy dismisses it as first-job jitters and wedding stress. Enter Electra Nozawa, Luna's stern and principled mother. Having arrived in Los Angeles with deep misgivings about Poppy's new life, her worst fears are being realized. She sees Poppy not as a proud mother, but as a puppet master, pulling Luna's strings until they fray and snap. Electra witnesses one of Luna's increasingly erratic episodes firsthand, a moment of paranoia and confusion that is far beyond simple anxiety. A fierce, no-holds-barred confrontation erupts between the two sisters. Electra accuses Poppy of poisoning their daughter, not with malice, but with her ambition and her questionable remedies. "Look at her, Poppy. She is not the same girl. You are so obsessed with your designer handbags and your billionaire boyfriends that you are burning our daughter out to keep yourself warm." Poppy, cornered and defensive, fires back, accusing Electra of jealousy and of never understanding her struggle. "I am giving her a life you could never dream of. Security, a name. I am her mother, and I know what's best for her." But Electra has heard enough. She sees that Poppy is beyond reason. Her desperation to protect Luna from Poppy's toxic influence overrides everything else. In a moment of chilling resolve, she makes a decision that she believes is the only one left. If she cannot reason with Poppy, and if she cannot get through to Luna, she will force the issue. She will create a crisis so significant that the truth must come out. The 911 call. "My daughter is in danger." The week of October 20th builds to its stunning climax at the Forrester mansion. RJ, having grown increasingly alarmed by Luna's behavior, invites her over, hoping the quiet, familiar environment will calm her. Instead, Luna, perhaps having taken more of her special tea to cope with the stress, descends into a full-blown paranoid episode. She becomes convinced that people are watching her from the windows, that Steffi is coming to have her fired and arrested, and that RJ is in on the conspiracy. Her behavior is erratic and frightening. She paces the room, her speech slurred and disjointed. When RJ tries to comfort her, she recoils, accusing him of lying to her. It's a heartbreaking scene. The gentle, kind-hearted RJ is faced with a version of the woman he loves that he no longer recognizes. Electra, who had followed them, arrives at the mansion and witnesses this scene through a window. This is the final, terrifying confirmation she needed. Her daughter is not just stressed, she is in the throes of a psychological crisis, and she is convinced Poppy is the cause. With a trembling hand but a steady heart, Electra pulls out her phone and dials 911. "I need an ambulance and the police at the Forrester residence on my daughter. She's not herself. I think she's been drugged. She's a danger to herself and others. Please hurry." The sound of sirens cutting through the tranquil Beverly Hills air marks a point of no return. The police and paramedics arrive, swarming the mansion. A confused and terrified Luna is escorted to an ambulance for evaluation. RJ is in a state of shock, trying to explain to officers that it's a misunderstanding. The fallout is instantaneous and public. The aftermath, a dynasty in disarray. The final days of this explosive period, from October 22nd to the 24th, deal with the devastating aftermath of Electra's call. Poppy's reckoning. Poppy arrives on the scene in a state of hysterical fury. She turns on Electra, screaming accusations of betrayal and cruelty. But her outbursts only serve to raise suspicions with the authorities and the Forresters. Bill Spencer, who has been Poppy's staunchest ally and lover, is forced to see the situation with clear eyes for the first time. He witnesses the destructive dynamic between the sisters and begins to question the woman he thought he knew. The Poppy Pop, that once seemed charming, now feels sinister. Bill is left to ponder a terrifying question. What, exactly, has she been giving Luna? Hope's heartbreak. The public spectacle at the Forrester mansion is the final nail in the coffin for Hope's wedding. How can she marry into a family that is at the center of such a toxic, sprawling scandal? Her conversation with Thomas is tear-filled and final. "This isn't about love anymore, Thomas. This is about survival. I can't think straight. I can't trust my own mind. Our foundation was built on sand, and this storm has washed it all away." Thomas is left devastated, watching his dream evaporate, not because of his past sins, but because of a scandal he never saw coming. RJ's resolve. At the hospital, a clearer-headed Luna, horrified and humiliated by what happened, begins to piece together the events. With RJ by her side, she tentatively points the finger at her mother's special mints. This confession ignites a fire in RJ. He vows to get to the bottom of what Poppy has been administering. His mission is no longer just about protecting his relationship. It's about saving the woman he loves from her own family. A new power shift, with a hope for the future lying in limbo due to the cancelled wedding and the company's name dragged through the tabloids. Steffi and Ridge seize control. This crisis solidifies their authority, demonstrating the perceived need for their steady, if ruthless, leadership. The fallout from Elektra's phone call has inadvertently reshaped the entire power structure of Forrester Creations. As the sun sets on October 24th, the landscape of Los Angeles' elite is irrevocably altered. A wedding is cancelled. A young woman's mental health hangs in the balance. A mother's desperate gamble has exposed a web of manipulation, and the Spencer Forrester Logan dynasty is left to pick up the pieces, forever scarred by the day Elektra Nozawa picked up the phone and called the cops. The battle lines are drawn, and the war for Luna's future and the soul of Forrester Creations has only just begun. Bold and the Beautiful sees Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, awake. So, Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, and Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, are going to have to figure out what is next for Luna and for them, because they are now officially co-conspirators whether they like it or not. We're going to talk about what Lee and Sheila might be planning for Luna now that their granddaughter is conscious. Bold and the Beautiful, Luna Nozawa awake. Alright, so we found out on Sunday, but if you watch the latest episode, you may have seen it as well that Luna wakes up from her coma. I've seen some people commenting on Soap social media how insane it is that Luna has got perfect hair and flawless eye makeup and mascara while in this coma after being shot in the stomach. Why did Brad Bell not have the makeup artist make her look pale and, comatose? It's so sloppy. Sheila goes from bickering with Dr. Lee Finnegan about her hiding Luna. They're going to be distracted from bickering. She and Lee are going to be absolutely elated when Luna opens her eyes early this week. Of course, Lee is going to be thrilled because this is the outcome she's been hoping and praying for ever since she faked Luna's death. And of course, this is what Lee Finnegan does. She lets people think someone in her family is dead and then sneaks them out of the hospital to save them. I mean, Brad Bell is pretty much replaying Finn's, Tanner Novlin, shooting and coma, except this time it's Lee's murderous niece/granddaughter that she's taken from the hospital and worked her medical magic on. Of course, Sheila will be over the moon because she thought Luna was dead and was completely distraught, especially because Lee wouldn't tell Sheila where Luna's final resting place was so that Sheila could get some closure and pay her respects. Lee wouldn't tell Sheila because there was no final resting place. And I think being questioned about Luna so intently just frazzled her. So coming up, we've got Lee and Sheila overjoyed as Finn's daughter wakes up. But Luna should have a long road ahead of her if Brad Bell did this storyline right. If you remember, Luna's injury was severe. She was shot in the gut by Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, while he was stopping Luna from shooting Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood. Then when she was in surgery, Luna flatlined. But Lee and Bridget Forrester, Ashley Jones, saved Luna. And that is when Lee took the opportunity to lie about Luna dying. And then Lee moved her out of the hospital. Can I just say University Hospital in LA must be doing really sloppy work. Because Grace snuck one surgery victim out and Lee snuck another one out that was supposed to be dead and in the morgue. They need to revamp their security procedures that handle post-op care. So Luna's body, bottom line, has gone through a lot. Shot, flatlined. She should be in excruciating pain. Gut shot is one of the worst types of injuries. So I do hope Bold and the Beautiful isn't going to have her up and jogging around in a week. Lee should be keeping her in bed for quite a while. Luna is going to need to finish healing and recuperate. Challenges ahead. Luna's recovery and the complex plans of Lee Finnegan and Sheila Carter. And that leaves Sheila and Lee some time to figure things out. Because now that Luna is awake, we got to wonder what the options are and what her grandmas have planned for her. Sheila will likely want Luna to leave town and start over elsewhere. After all, that's what Sheila was trying to get Luna to do for quite some time before Luna snapped and took Steffi and the art teacher hostage. However, Lee may think that Luna needs to face the consequences of her actions and find the path to redemption through accountability. That seems like a very Lee thing to do. But then again, if you remember the last time Lee knocked Luna down and had her arrested for caging Steffi, that was back when Lee didn't know she was her granddaughter and only thought that was her niece. And she has changed her tune since then. Luna terrified to go back to prison on BNB. And if you recall, Luna was beaten within an inch of her life while she was in prison. So, I bet she will do anything she can to avoid reincarceration. That's the main reason Bill Spencer, Don Diamant, got Luna that pardon. Because he didn't want to see her die in prison. But of course, Bill would never do that again. And he might be happy to see her die in prison at this point. So, I'm sure Luna is going to be terrified of going back behind bars, and she may refuse to do that and throw herself on the mercy of both her grandmas. I do wonder if Sheila and Lee are going to bicker about Luna's fate or not. I mean, if Lee is also of the mindset that Luna leaving town is the best idea, she and Sheila will be on the same page, and they can get Luna healed and then packed and gone. If Lee wants her arrested, though, I do think she'll have a fight on her hands both with Luna and with Sheila. I also think Luna will see leaving LA is the best decision, even if it means she'll never see her.